Hey everybody, welcome to Rinks Around the League, where we finally get some news about the new home of the Calgary Flames. We also have some updates on the new rinks coming online later this fall, and I'll of course boil it all down for you on another episode of Rinks Roundup. And with that, let's go. Welcome back to Rinks Around the League. I'm of course your host, Jeff Nash. This episode is brought to you by the Second String Leather Company, which I must say, if you haven't checked them out in a little while, make sure to head over to the social channels as they keep releasing some amazing leather goods made out of used hockey gear. And of course, I have to give another shout out to Arcadia Brewing here at Edmonton, and of course, Ross Flat's Vintage Apparel. We're working on some cool stuff this fall, so stay tuned. One thing I'll mention before we dive into everything is that UBS and Pnc Arena, we're getting to this phase where there isn't a ton of updates other than what you can see with your own eyes. There's some posts here and there, but you know things must be going absolutely crazy behind the scenes as they get closer and closer to opening night. All right, let's kick things off out on the East Coast and UBS Arena. Now, if you head over to ubsarena.com and check out their live cams, you'll see that there's been an increased activity on the event floor. First, we've seen the installation of the arena sound system, as well as the ever-growing seat installation now occupying pretty much most of the lower bowl. But it's that scoreboard that really draws your eye. It's slowly coming together. I'm curious how long UBS will keep the live cam up for us to watch everything that's been happening inside. Hopefully it'll be up long enough for us to see some ice being installed. Now, apart from that, not a whole lot to update you on at UBS Arena. Although the New York Islanders released their 2021-2022 NHL schedule, and what's kind of surprising is that their first home game won't happen until well into November. On November 20th, they'll play host to the Calgary Flames in their debut hockey game inside their new barn. Now, while that's exciting, I bet the Islanders aren't super happy playing their first 13 games on the road to open up the new season. I'm thinking that the construction shutdown in 2020 during the COVID pandemic has something to do with the building not being open to kick off the season until mid-November. I'm sure Islander fans are just itching to get in there, but I'm sure it'll be worth the wait. Let's stay out east and do some housekeeping with the Pnc Arena and the Carolina Hurricanes. The Hurricanes and the Centennial Authority reached a 5-year lease extension for the Pnc Arena. This new release comes just after the Chief Executive Officer, owner, and Governor Tom Dundon purchased the remaining shares of the Hurricanes in June to own 100% of the Canes. This new agreement carries the extension to the 2028-2029 NHL season. Okay, now let's head over to Seattle and Pnc Arena, home of the Kraken. Now, in between all of the excitement of the NHL drafts and free agency signings, there has been some cool visuals coming out of Seattle. There have been some media tours giving us some cool insights into the construction progress. Just look at some of these images that show that iconic roof. Man, that place is going to be amazing when it opens. But one area I want to kind of key in on is their locker room. Some footage of the interior of the Kraken's new locker room kind of goes against the trends of home team locker room design. Many fans don't get to see inside the locker rooms, but if they did, they would notice a unique design that is fairly popular with new arenas, and that is a round or oval shaped room. Rogers Place, Rogers Arena, PPG Paints Arena, the Hockey Canada dressing room, it has this shape because having this shaped room means that every player can see every other player. The idea is that every player is accountable and they can't hide from others in the room. It's something small, but I think it's kind of cool that thought process goes behind designing a room like that. In Seattle, it looks as though they've chosen to go with a more traditional square or rectangle shape for their room. Now, there's nothing wrong with this decision. Little Caesars in Detroit and United Center in Chicago have square shapes. I think it's more down to tradition, as these original 6 rooms were more rectangular shaped. But I'll be more interested if they choose to put their logo on the floor or the ceiling. Now, the Kraken have also released their schedule showing that their home opener will take place on Saturday, October 23rd against the Vancouver Canucks. Can't wait to see that building on opening night. All right, let's end things in Calgary. All right, before we do, make sure and hit subscribe if you're new here and give this video a thumbs up. It helps me out a ton. Now on to some exciting developments out in Calgary. On July 28th, Calgary City Council passed motion that approved new terms with the Calgary Sports and Entertainment Corp that, among other things, saw the additional funds and the removal of the city as the project development manager of the new arena. This new deal now means that the CSEC has agreed to take all addition cost overruns. The arena is now projected to cost $608.5 million which is up from the previous $550 million agreed upon in the original deal in 2019. The city will pay roughly around half that amount. Now, the CSEC will have a facility fee that will also increase from 8% to 9.5% for non-sporting events to help cover the extra costs. The city will also maintain its 2% share. The city's costs add up to a roughly $312.9 million. That includes the event center capital costs. Now, there's other factors being built in here, such as the demolition of the Saddle Dome and that all-important flood mitigation plan. Calgarians will remember that back in 2013, floods ravaged downtown Calgary and caused massive flooding in the Saddle Dome, with water reaching all the way up to the 10th row of seats, destroying the AV systems and the scoreboard control room, as well as the Flames locker room. Some interesting details were released to the public via the City of Calgary website. I'll link to it down below. But one thing that kind of caught my eye is that the city will benefit from roughly $2.5 million over 10 years from a shared revenue from naming rights. The city will look to recoup some of the costs via this route, roughly $250,000 a year, and it is unique because, as far as I've researched, money made from the naming rights to a venue hasn't often been shared with a public entity. Typically, naming rights contracts to buildings are generally speculative, and little information is released to the public other than the length of the term. Now, I'm not 100% sure if this is the naming rights to the entire entertainment complex or just the arena itself. I'll do some digging to see what I can find, but regardless, this is a unique detail that I don't think I've ever seen with other arena deals. Now, just released on August 4th were the new renderings of the event center. Also released to the public earlier was an image that when I first saw it, I wasn't really a fan, but now after seeing this new bunch of renderings, it's starting to grow on me. Down the road, I'll do a little bit more of a deep dive into these, but it's finally nice to see an updated rendering of the new arena in Calgary. The building is expected to have 18,300 seats, around 1,000 fewer than the current Saddle Dome. Construction on the new arena is set to start in December or January of next year, with the expected completion in August 2024. All right, that about does it for now. Things are really coming together, and on the next Rinks Roundup, we may be so close to the completed buildings in Seattle and Long Island. Amazing and exciting stuff. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.